it really wasn't that clean of a transition when you just say Green Beret to entrepreneur. There's like kind of a lot in the middle there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when I was, I was a Green Beret from, 2000 to, I think I officially ETS in 2015. So I did the invasion of Iraq and then came back, and then I got a job with an organization called the CIA for about 9 years. And yes, I can say that because I've been gone from the agency for several years. I can't compromise any intelligence. So, I'd kind of kicked around in the tactical world. When I say that, I've spent the majority of my adult life from 2000 to 2014 overseas, either working as a SF guy or as a CIA contractor. And I was roasting coffee back in the day, like 2006, 2007, just to take with me on deployments. So I'd come home, and I got this idea in Kirkuk, actually, way back in the day. And there was a couple other guys with me. One was a former SEAL, the other guy's a former Army guy, and we were all kind of getting into coffee roasting around the same time. We were all coffee heads.
Yeah.
And coffee heads, they find each other. It's really interesting. In these environments, you kind of look at what people are doing. It's fairly obvious in the morning as to who's doing what. If somebody's busting out a pour over, or, doing a hand grinder, it's really easy to kind of identify who's who in the zoo, and then you find each other. And I just got into roasting back in the day, and I would roast up 20, 30, 40 pounds of coffee. At that time, I really didn't know much about roasting. It takes quite a few, it's an iterative process.
Yeah.
And so it's developing this hobby, deploying over to Iraq till about 2009. And then I went to Afghanistan in 2009, right after the SOFA agreement was signed. Spent a couple years over there. So I was roasting coffee, deploying, come back, work this new skill. And I wanted to have a coffee company, but I didn't really see an end to my tactical career.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as if I was looking at it going, okay, one or the other, until about 2014, when, I had enough of the CIA and they had kind of enough of me, and we what I say is mutually parted ways. So and not to be, to be less ambiguous, it's more, hey, you can leave or we can fire you type of a conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, that's where you have to kind of use those events in your life to make the changes that I think your body or your mind might be pining for. 9 years, I spent a lot of time on the trail.
Yeah.
And I was tired, mentally I was tired. Physically I was tired. I wasn't enjoying the work anymore. I was not enjoyable either. So rightfully so, man. I was cashed. I was done. And I didn't really have a plan for a coffee company initially. So I was working in the tactical world, and I was working with another startup called Twist Rate, where we were trying to fund other veterans and their initiatives through a crowdfunding platform. That didn't go anywhere. So that was just a lead balloon, and I was still roasting coffee. So I made the transition over to another startup. So I was working 2 different startups at the same time. And then I had this coffee business in the background. And I had met Matt a few years before that, Matt Best. He and I were continuing to do a bunch of random pieces of content. And then we started to cobble the pieces together, right? It was like JT, Jared Taylor, Matt Best, Logan Stark, all these guys. We just started really putting the pieces together. And then it was, hey guys, we're way better at coffee than we are anything else.
Yeah.
We've got to bucket our energy, go chips in over here, and commit to a concept and a company. And that was really when it started to take off. It was kind of a hobby, fun cool little company
Yeah.
after the first year. And when we decided to go chips in and chop out all the white noise from everything else, that's when the company started to really grow past just being able to create a job for ourselves. That was the end of 2014. I left the agency in September of 14. I started Black Rifle in December of 14. And our first transaction was January 15. And today we have 260 plus employees. I roast all of our coffee except for the single serve K cup options.
Yeah.
We've been able to donate, I can't even count at this point, at least $2 million back to veteran and law enforcement related causes.